everyone. Happy Monday. Happy New Year. I hope that you guys have really just loved the the season. Loved on the season. I really obviously tried hard to prep you guys for all of November, all of December. And before you know it, right? Every year that happens. Before you know it, you jump into this new season. And just like we are physically through, Mother Nature going through seasons, you are going through seasons, right? And obviously, I'm not always a big advocate of New Year's resolutions, and you will understand this in about 2 weeks when the bulk of the people that set a New Year's resolution, what day is it? 7 days ago, have kind of dropped off the map. Right? Hey, Carly. That's kind of the way it works. And we're going to talk about that today. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's every day's a new chance for an opportunity, right? And that's kind of the mindset that I come from. And I know that after the holidays are finished, everybody's just kind of ready to hit the reset button anyways, right? So you know what? It's January and it is cold outside and there's, but you've got your hot tea and there's no better time than just to rock this out, right? So I want to thank you guys for joining me today, and I want to congratulate you, and just acknowledge that you're here, right? You are ready, regardless of your where you are physically at right now. You are ready to make this just the most epic year ever. And many people have they've kind of given up too, right? So as much as you've seen, the posts on Facebook and Instagram over the last week on, these are my reflections of 2018, and this is my resolution and what I'm going to do more of in 2019. And we've already talked about how in a couple weeks from now, people will drop off the map according to statistics. But I also saw on the other end of the spectrum, just a lot of people really just giving up on New Year's because they've kind of had that I've tried everything and nothing has ever worked, or nothing has ever come of a resolution attitude. So, it kind of upsets me when people like this, who kind of fall into this category because, at some point they have desired to not settle for the ordinary or, to get out of their comfort zone, right? They desired for something more. And then at some point, they gave up on it, right? And don't get me wrong, I've totally been there. And, I think of some of the resolutions that I've set over the years. And it's one of those things where it can be defeating over time, right? And as I've kind of jumped into motherhood now, the type of people I hang out with now are not just my kids, but even like other moms, right? You talk on January 1st and they were, oh, I didn't make it till 10 o'clock, or it's just another day, changing diapers and screaming at my kids and whatever, right? It doesn't have to be this way, right? At some point, we've all wanted something bigger. What is that something bigger? Okay. So but what if you were to say, that you deserve to experience everything that this life has to offer? What if they were to say those things? What if I were to let you know that there is this huge untapped potential inside of you, that will just let you accomplish everything that you've ever wanted, right? If I made it sound that easy, those moms of, 5, those, whatever, those people would absolutely want to do it, right? But I'm not trying to hype you up, right? Or to motivate you without any real outcome. Instead, I just want to share what I know is true, okay? And the reason that I'm certain of this is because you are not currently experiencing your ideal life. Then I know if you're not experiencing your ideal life, I know for a fact that there's more for you to experience and to achieve, as long as you never want to give up on the vision, okay? So if there's even one tiny speckle of an element that you want to change, I'm just here to let you know that it's possible, okay? This doesn't have to be just another day. This doesn't have to be just another year. This doesn't have to be the time that you're stuck, okay? We've all been stuck, right? I'm currently stuck in certain elements of my life that I'm, trying to just work through in my head, right? And, there's a motto that was once shared with me, and now I just want to kind of pay it forward to you. In the end, it will always be great. And if it's not great, then it's not the end. I love that motto. So the motto is, in the end, it will always be great. And if it's not great, then it's not the end. So I want you to, I want you to know if you're truly committed to making 2019 your most epic yet, then, and that you're, motivated to transforming your life so that you can become more than, you could have ever imagined, right? So don't sell yourself short if, regardless of how old you are or how little your kids are, or what goals you thought you should have set by now that you haven't, put all that down, right? And get ready just to be the catalyst for your own change. Okay. So that's really what I want to dive into. And before we dig into a plan to make this year awesome, I want you to do me a favor and just really, really own the way you're feeling right now. So whether you're watching this live or you are watching at a later time, I want you to just really feel what you want to come out of this year. So, because for far too many people, they'll, raise their hand and they'll express interest in a specific, training or learning the material, and then do nothing with everything that they've gained, right? So there's no point in doing that. These people will then remain stuck in their lives. They'll become cynical, and there'll be those people that it's just another year, it's just another day, and then they'll then make choices every single day that settle, right? I'm not here to teach you how to settle. I'm here to teach you how to rise up. Okay. And I don't want you to fall into that category of mediocrity. This was definitely the cycle that I was caught in for many years, but I didn't know what it was. Right. But I'm telling you, if you are, again, truly committed to making this, taking these steps forward, I want you to just do the happy dance in your head, because, the shimmy, the Carlton, whatever you want to do. But really just congratulate yourself on taking this step. I want you to get down, I want to get down to business here. Let's not beat around the bush here, because one of the most consistent stumbling blocks for people when they are on a mission to take charge of, of their life or make a change in their life, is that they lose sight of how badly they want to achieve it, whatever it is, whether it's losing weight or spending more time with their family or working less or making more money or building their own business or whatever, right? They lose sight of why they want to do it. And the it can be defined as all of those things, right? The it is your goal, okay? And trust me when I tell you that I can completely empathize with the difficulty around making a sustainable change. We are humans. Change is not something that we do lightly, right? And, because it's not easy and it requires just this level of concentration and resilience that most people are simply just not willing to commit to. And then because of that, they lose sight of why, of the it, right? So my question for you right now is whatever your it is, how badly do you want it? Okay. I know for me, January 1st, 2017 marked day one of me full blown my own. I was out of corporate healthcare. Okay. But I knew that it was going to be, that obviously I'd resigned at the hospital. So for me at that point, it was, but even take me back to January 1st, 2016, right? I knew that was going to be the year of change for me, that I was going to make a big decision. But I knew the decision was going to be had, right? So then coming into 2017, it was like, okay, this is day one. How's this going to work, right? But the key to getting past my fear of going, oh my gosh, I just left my job with a pension and benefits and, my team that was there and, all the patients, and is this what I want? And I wanted to show up here so badly that whenever I would start questioning myself, it would just take me back. I would just lean in on what I actually wanted, right? Because my goal wasn't necessarily to, run my own business. That was the overarching goal, but there were so many underlying factors, right? I wanted a healthier me. I wanted a healthier family. I wanted so many other things, right? So you got to, whatever you want, do you want it badly enough? Okay. What will your life look like when you achieve it? So when you lose the weight, when you make the whatever amount of money, when you start that business, if your goal is to clean the kitchen cupboards, what will your life look like when you achieve it? And what will you be able to do that you were unable to do right now? Okay. How will reaching this goal change your life? Okay. And how will you feel when it changes your life? So I really want you to take a minute and pause and really just feel what that's going to feel like. I know this was something I would do regularly. And I always go back to that feeling, right? Because I get in my head a lot and I can constantly analyze things and try to structure things, and I get busy in my head. Whereas if I just go back to that original feeling and I, at the end of the day, if I'm just meditating on, did today feel like how I wanted it to feel? If I can go back and feel that initial feeling, I know that it was golden, right? So, and the same thing goes with, something like losing weight, right? If you want to be 4 sizes smaller, you have to, what's that going to feel like for you when you are, yes, you're going to feel better in your body. But, what's that going to feel like to, be able to have more mobility, to be able to get down on the ground and play with your kids or your grandkids or your nieces or your nephews, right? What's that going to feel like when going for a walk isn't a chore? What's that going to feel like when you don't have so much aches and pains or inflammation? And I know a lot of people are just like, screw sugar, like they're done with sugar. I've done an entire class on this. If this is you, just look at Proactive Essential Health, look up the word sugar, and I have entire classes and things that you can do to help you, because it's an addiction. 100% it's an addiction. And some of you have other addictions that you're trying to give up, right? But I want you to, what's that going to feel like when you quit smoking? What's that going to feel like when you're through the withdrawal of sugar or caffeine or whatever you're trying to give up. Like I said before, achieving it is not for the faint of heart. But if it's for you, and on this journey, I want you to really, I want you to be able to lean on that feeling. Okay, so let's get down to it. Because what I'm about to share with you is one of my most favorite topics. And also one of the most difficult ones, because it's packed with a huge, it's just a lot of information that requires action. Okay, and I can give you the information. I can't do the actions for you. Okay, so feel free to take notes, but I want you to realize that it's you. You can do this, but you do not need to do everything that I share in order to succeed. Okay. Some of the things that I share with you are going to resonate with you and you're going to say, yep, okay, I got this. And some aren't. But find the strategies that work for you, but don't focus on all of them, right? I'm a huge advocate for not being everything to everyone. It's the same thing for your strategies, right? But know if you've not completed your resolutions or your goals in the past, nothing's going to change unless you change. Okay, so you have to decide, why do I want this year to be different? Okay, and if your strategies and tactics haven't worked in the past, they're probably not going to work again. Because the key is that you achieve your outcome. So whether you follow some of my ideas verbatim, make sure you adapt the strategies to make them your own, and then you can create your own path for success. And I just want you to begin to start looking at your ideal life. Okay, so my final thought before we dig in, there are 16 strategies that I'm going to talk about specifically to support you. And you can't start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. So I want you to move on. I want you to say, however old you are, all right, 23-year-old version of me, 33-year-old version of me, 43-year-old version of me, 53-year-old version of me, whatever, however old you are, take those experiences, learn from them. You're not going that way, so stop looking there. We're looking forward. You are going to carve your own path now, moving forward, okay? And again, we're going to take the strategies that absolutely work for you. When we were children and we would dream without limitations, we would experience everything, and we would just kind of execute without fear. Go to that place, okay? Let's be kids again, and let's, just kind of go full throttle, okay? The first thing you have to do, and the most important strategy whenever you are talking about making actual sustainable change in your life, is to dig into the emotion that is motivating you in the first place. This is your why, okay? Why is this change in your life vital? Your why is what will keep you going whenever everything inside of you wants to quit. Okay, your why is the reason you will get out of bed in the morning with momentum versus, kind of staggering. And maybe that's your goal. Maybe you want to wake up 15 minutes early, 30 minutes earlier every day to maximize your day. Okay, your why is what will guarantee your goal becomes real and that you won't lose sight of it. Okay, your why is your story. And so if your goal is to lose weight this year, your why might be something to do with, experiencing life as an overweight child, or how maybe you were made fun of, or whatever, right? Or your goal, if you have a goal for financial freedom this year, your why might be something to do, maybe you grew up in poverty. Or if your goal is to, be out of your 9-to-5 job, your why might be because maybe you missed some precious milestones in your kid's life, because you were at work. I'm only sharing these examples to kind of initiate the process. Okay. So, it's really up to you. You know what your story is, and you know why you want to break the cycle. Okay. And you know why at the end of it all, you want to have no regrets. Okay. Why is your goal ridiculously important to you? So once you really look at what your true story is, I want you to write it down. I want you to record a video, an audio, draw a picture of it. I don't care if it's stick people. Do something that you will never forget your ultimate motivation for transformation. Okay, but you have to decide it and declare it. So write it down, talk it out, do what you got to do, but know your story and know why. Next, no one has ever accomplished anything substantial and actually sustained the outcome without a huge amount of support, or at least, synergistic support, okay? Of just like-minded people who are also just on the same journey. So, one of the greatest benefits, for me specifically with choosing to be a part of doTERRA is that, I'm on a team of people from around the world that are committed to experiencing this lifestyle, right? And what this life has to offer. And so I know for me, when I look at even, my own life goals, I love that I'm, surrounded by this community of people. And I always talk about that you are the sum of the top 5 people that you associate yourself with, right? So what support do you have within those 5 people? Do you need to change up your 5 people? Give yourself permission to do that, okay? One of the, you want to have your tribe where, everybody wants the same thing. And I know within my tribe, everybody wants to give back. Everybody wants to create freedom. Everybody wants to, leave a legacy. Everybody wants to thrive in their health, and they just want to help people. Okay. I consider our doTERRA team, it kind of has a competitive advantage over anyone, who's trying to accomplish a goal over their own or on their own, because, when I have a bad day or become distracted, there's always someone who can keep me on track. Right. So you want this committed level of support. Okay. So and again, regardless of what you're wanting to do, if you are trying to lose weight, living in a house with people that don't want to make the same nutrition choices that you do, or it's not that it can't be done, it just makes it a little bit more difficult, right? Or if you are trying to, and I think about this all the time, when my goal was to be done with 9 to 5, I couldn't imagine what that would have looked like had I not initially, because even I think part of my team was like, oh my gosh, Lynn, what are you doing? If I had the support of my husband, I could always go to my mom even and just be like, Mom, tell me I'm not nuts. And then she would tell me I'm not nuts. Right. And it was awesome. And it's just having that extra support. Okay. So just know that whatever you're wanting to do, you have the options. Okay. And if you can join a model, again, this is where I went from like going network marketing, why would I do that, to absolutely loving this model, simply because you always have someone to hold you accountable, and you follow through, you're success minded, you're healthy, you're driven, you're accessible, you're goal oriented, those sorts of things, right? So find your people that are right for you, and once you build a list of the characteristics that are non-negotiable for you, begin to assess your current network of people who meet the requirements, and then introduce the possibility of even setting up an accountability system. So say even your friend Judy, maybe she doesn't want to lose weight with you, but she has started her own business and wants to reach these goals. Or your friend Cheryl wants to work less and spend more time with her family. How can you guys hold each other accountable within that realm? Okay. Share your why with your people. Okay. Share what you want your outcomes to look like, and just commit to either, maybe you guys have 3 or 4-way calls, 10 minutes a week, or a Zoom call or something. Because you don't even have to live in the same place, right? Or maybe you guys get together once a week, and that's whatever, have some fun. But you want kind of your accountability partners, and this will prove to be huge value to your journey. And as you transform, you'll go, oh, okay, that was key. Okay. So off the top of your head, how many people come to mind right now when you think of what your perfect accountability network could look like? Okay. You don't need that many. As I said, my key ones were my hubby, and one of my best friends, Kaylee. She was a huge one. And my mom, right? Just those people that knew me best, and just were knew what I wanted, knew why I wanted it, and weren't afraid to remind me, right? When it felt hard and I was fearful and I wanted to step back and go back to easy, they reminded me. Okay. So those are the people that you want. You don't want a yes men. Don't go for those guys. They're not helpful. If you are a yes man, make it your goal to stop being a yes man. The key next is to define what is your ideal outcome. So, although this is really, not funny at all, I often find it humorous when people have just this huge, big vision in their life, but they don't spend time defining their ideal outcome for the goal that they've actually set. So if your goal is to make this, the best year ever, which obviously we know it's going to be, then it's extremely important that you clearly define what is your ideal outcome. So for example, and again, I go back to weight loss because this seems to be on everybody's list, I need you to answer these questions. How much weight and when do you want to lose it by? Okay, answer that. Number 2, what will you be able to do once you lose weight? Number 3, how will you sustain the change, the weight loss? Okay, and number 4, how will you know when your goal is achieved? Okay, if you are going to make an extra, if you're going to make $1 million this year, how much money and when do you want it by? What will you be able to do once the money has been received? How will you keep the money or grow it or sustain the lifestyle? And how will you know once you've achieved the goal? Okay, so get specific with it. There should be at least 5 to 7 questions that you will answer prior to committing any goal, because your outcome is that you are striving to actually achieve it. Okay, and then sustain it. So yes, the journey is special and it's exciting, and this is where you will grow and become more resilient. But we are working towards a destination together, and I want to make sure that you know exactly where you're traveling. Right? We're not taking detours and side roads. So I want you to get really, really clear on what your goal is, okay? Next, I want you to create an anchor. So since we are all beautifully imperfect human beings, and the possibility of getting distracted, discouraged, and just frustrated is probably the inevitable outcome on your journey at some point. You may need to become reconnected with your why so that your actions don't kind of come to a screeching halt. Okay. So what you need is your anchor. Okay. I always call it an anchor. So this is something that will catch you and remind you of the magnitude and sheer importance of accomplishing your desired outcome. Okay. So earlier, I asked you to kind of own this. Okay. Dance with me. And I asked you, how badly do you want it? Okay. So with any goal of initiating, the creation of an anchor, we want to create the anchor, but now it's really something that you need to establish yourself, right? You need to know, again, through answering those 5 to 7 questions, you need to know why you're doing this, and always be able to come back to it. Some people create a visual, representation of their goals, and then they post it throughout their home, their office, their car. So dream boards, right? You always want it in your face. Mine is actually on the side of my fridge because I work in the heart of my home. I love to work in my kitchen, right? I have an office, which all my past dream boards are there, but I never look at them because I never want to work down there, right? So, others, it might be a little bit more discreet. It might be a mantra. It might be, a prayer, an incantation. For others, they might even just wear something as simple as a piece of jewelry, maybe a bracelet. Maybe they listen to a certain song or read a specific quote. But whatever works for you is perfect, as long as it reminds you of why accomplishing your desired outcome is vital, why it's non-negotiable. So what is your anchor? What's it going to be? Right? I also have a song that I listen to, and I never had a song before. And then when our team reached diamond level with doTERRA last year, and I at the annual convention, Dave and I got to walk across stage, right? And we got to choose a song. And it wasn't until then that I was like, oh, a song, what song do I want? Oh, right. And now when our team reaches Blue Diamond and we're walking the stage again, I know exactly what song I'm going to listen to. And I listen to it all the time now. And it pumps me up, right? Even just thinking about the song gives me that feeling in my stomach, right? And if you're part of any company that has, ranks or whatever, a rank is just showing how many people that you've been able to help, right? So you want to subcategorize it too. And that's completely different coaching that I do all the time. The next step is knowing that your environment matters. Okay. So one of the most overlooked areas that tend to hold people back from actualizing their goals is their environment or their lack of. Okay. So for example, if your goal is to lose weight and your environment is filled with junk food, the chances of your success are minimal at best. Not that you can't, it's just harder, right? Like we talked about. So the environment matters, and in a really, really big way. And the key to make your environment work for you is to make it will make the entire journey easier if you can do this. Okay. So, leave personal development books on your kitchen table. Here's some tips, where you're actually going to read them. Okay. I always try to have my current book. I'm an audio listener, but I keep it as my phone screensaver so that I am constantly looking at it. Okay. If you're trying to lose weight, fill your refrigerator with only healthy food choices. Like get rid of those box of chocolates that you got for Christmas, or those dips and whatever you had for if people happen to come over when you're hosting. Unplug the television in your living room or your basement or wherever. So, so that you can get stuff done. Okay. Because I'm telling you, and I know even for myself, I've never really been, um, maybe I have a couple times been like a Netflix binger. Oh, Edward, been a Netflix binger. But for me, like I have a show that I love right now, but I only get to watch it when I'm on the elliptical. So I grab my iPad and I go downstairs, right? Or I go to the gym or whatever, right? But I can only watch that show when I'm doing that. And that's a big thing for me, right? Um, but if your goal is to, spend more time with your kids, unplugging your TV might be a godsend for you, or getting a timer for internet use, right? And, leave, set yourself up for success. Make a goal that, when you're driving, maybe you're not listening to music, maybe you're listening to audiobooks. If you're trying to get healthier, make a goal that, and under no circumstances are you eating out, like buying food, like fast food, Tim Hortons, Starbucks, all of those sorts of things. Okay. Get your diffuser going. Okay. And maybe it's, I want a life filled with more joy, right? How are you bringing joy into your life? Okay. And I'm a huge advocate in it for Brene Brown. And if you guys haven't read any of her books, or even just, she has a ton of TED Talks on YouTube. She is unreal. She's unreal. She talks a lot about the power of, and a lot of her research is on vulnerability. And she talks all about how, we are the largest cohort with the greatest amount of debt, the most amount of, the most obese, the most amount of addictions, the most medicated cohort in US history, North American history, okay? And which is true, right? Because we're constantly trying to numb it. So if you are trying to numb something, and you might not have an addiction or not, when you can't choose what you numb and don't numb, right? So if you are numbing something that's happening in your life versus changing it, then you're also numbing things like joy, right? So really pay attention to what you're numbing and how you're numbing it. Numbing can also be like you're so busy that you don't have time to actually look at your life, right? You can take a step back and just really, even in the busyness, be proactive just by even diffusing, right? So I set the tone in my house. First thing in the morning, I drink a big bottle of lemon water. I water my diffusers. I water any plants that I have. And I set the tone in my house first thing every morning, non-negotiable, right? But obviously, what creates a year? 365 days, right? Every day is a chance for a new start, but set it, right? So if you're wanting to up-level your health, your diffuser is the best way to start. 100%. If you're not sure about all the other ways to use your oils or, plants or whatever, then, you'll get there. You'll get there. Start with diffusing. And another big thing is just even keeping a journal beside your bed. Okay. So that you can document your journey, but accomplishing your goals is not easy, if you don't create the right space for it. Right. So I want you to look at your environment right now. What is the first thing that you were going to change? What is it? I knew for me, if I was going to work at home, I had to, I'm already a neat freak by nature, but I know I've never been one of those, I work in organized chaos. Okay. I just work in organized, period. Right. So, what is that going to look like for you? Okay. Next declare your commitment to this. So it's one thing to write down your goals on a piece of paper and then hide them in your desk drawer, but it's entirely different. It's a completely different experience when you publicly announce what you will achieve. Okay. This is often the most overwhelming and fear-filled strategy that people will face, because sharing your goals means that if you fall short, other people will actually know about it. But it works. I've seen people creating their ideal life simply because they did not want people to recognize failure, right? It's our biggest fear is failure. So even if you need to hold yourself accountable just by, creating a post on social media, right? Whatever works, right? Go on social media, call your friends, record a video, post it on YouTube, compose a mass email, but let the world know what you will achieve on your, of how you're going to make this the most epic year ever. Okay. Let them know, and that will hold you accountable, right? I know it kind of makes you squirm when you think about it, but all growth occurs outside of your comfort zone, I promise. Next, be smart. So many studies are comparing the difference between those who have accomplished their desired outcome and those who fall short. Okay, so one of the most widely known effective acronyms out there is making your goals SMART. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and trackable. So specific or significant, this means your goals include systems for achieving them. You have specific actions that are going to be carried out each day to make you, get closer to your goal. Measurable. This means that the changes you see once the goal is achieved are actually noticeable. So if I can say I have lost 50 pounds by this date, right? That date will come. Have I lost 50 pounds? Yes or no, right? It's measurable. Is it attainable? This means that the goal it's realistic, it's tangible. And, there's so many benefits even for aiming high, but you don't want to aim so high that you become just disappointed and discouraged from making any set changes, right? But I've seen people lose hundreds of pounds, hundreds with an S. I've seen people make millions of dollars, millions with an M and an S. I've seen people, leave jobs that were once their dream jobs. I've seen it, right? But make it attainable. Absolutely. Make it relevant. Okay. Or it could stand for rewarding. And this means that there's a real need for your goal. So you've been unsatisfied with a certain area of your life for some time and have a strong motivation to change it. Okay. You want to feel rewarded at the end of it, that through all the struggle, oh man, was it worth it? Okay. And you want it to be trackable. So similar to measurable, but means that you can access your progress throughout the process. Okay. And are you sticking to your schedule? Okay. So if you said first, attainable, don't say I'm going to lose, unless you need to lose hundreds of pounds, don't say I'm going to lose 50 pounds in the next 3 months, because that's not, it's possible, but it's not sustainable, right? But if you were to say, I am going to lose a pound a week for the next year, or if 50 pounds is all you have to lose, that is achievable, right? Or you'll lose probably 10 pounds fast or 20 pounds fast, because once you change your nutrition, everything just kind of comes from there. Then, but make it trackable. Okay. So that, you're losing it gradually and then it's sustainable. Okay. If weight loss is one of your things, but I suspect for most of you watching, it is. Don't wait for the stars to align. Okay. So the best time to start the process of goal accomplishment was yesterday. And the best time to do it is now, right? Again, we're not looking back. It didn't have to be January 1st. It doesn't even have to be January 7th. It's going to be when it's going to be. But don't put it off till next Monday. No worse time than starting something on New Year's Day than on a Monday. It doesn't have to start on a Monday. It can start on a Wednesday. Tony Robbins says it best. The path to success is to take massive and determined action. Love Tony Robbins. He's so good. Look him up on YouTube. You'll love him. Your daily priority should be to take one action or step a day towards achieving your desired outcome. Okay. So if it's just becoming healthier, maybe today you master nutrition, tomorrow it's fitness, day 3, it's self-care, day 4, it's, reducing your toxic load, but make it small bite-sized pieces. These steps don't need to be perfect. These steps might mean that you stumble your way through, but a step is a step is a step. Okay, and it's moving you in the right direction. Okay, so that this time next year you can go, oh my God, that was awesome, right? Was it hard? Yeah. Did I fall sometimes? Yeah, but was it awesome? Okay. I always recommend that you should write down your daily action steps, even in the evening. This is where a journal is really awesome. And then before you wake, you know exactly where you left off and what you're going to execute that day, right? I even like to write down my intentions for the next day. Consistency always wins, okay? So what you do every single day and build into a habit is where the gold is, okay? Trust me, it's worth it to create these habits now so that you can look back and thank yourself later, okay? So what's your immediate action going to be? Write that down, know what it is. And remember, just as you're writing things down every single day, make sure you are celebrating every day as well. Most people start the year strong. They begin to see progress. They forget to track how far they've traveled. And then they reach a certain point when all of a sudden they start doubting their ability. And, since they have no objective, or data to back it up in their progress, they feel like nothing has changed and they just give up, right? If your goal is to lose 20 pounds and you've lost a pound a day for 5 days and you've lost 5 pounds, keep going, right? But look back on day 1, look back on that initial number and know that you have come so far, right? Feel that feeling of how you're going to feel when that whole 50 pounds is gone, okay? But we've all, has this ever happened to you, right? I know it's happened to me where you get to a certain goal or partway through and then you forget where you've come from, right? So document it. I challenge you right now to track your progress daily. Go to the dollar store, grab a piece of paper, get a book, whatever. This means if your goal, again, is to lose weight, track everything you did that day to contribute. This means if your goal is to make more money, track everything you did that day that will contribute to that goal. This means if your goal was to spend more time with your kids, track everything you did that day that will contribute to that goal. Okay, so the results matter, 100% they do. And by your actions are equally as important. So track them and celebrate them. Celebrate 5 pounds. Celebrate, an extra $50 earned. Celebrate an extra 2 hours spent with your kids. The end result is those hours, those pounds, those dollars adding up, right? And at the end of the year, it's just going to be epic, right? Each victory along the way has to be celebrated. The fact that you earned it, right? Even if your version of celebrating is to look in the mirror and just smile at yourself for 5 minutes straight. And, regardless, you just need to acknowledge your progress. Okay. Strive for habits, not goals. You will know that you have kind of hit your tipping point when all of a sudden your goals change into habits, daily habits. this is when literally nothing can stop you because you have officially forgotten what it means to be the old version of yourself, okay? To be that mediocre version of yourself. And you've just gravitated to a place of vitality where what was once a struggle is now innate, okay? Establishing habits will take time, but they're part of the overall goal, right? It's what makes the goal easier to achieve. So, the habit of eating healthy, the habit of exercising regularly, the habit of spending time with your kids, the habit of making money, of reading books, of socializing with quality people that you are going to be the sum of. The best part about habits are that they become 100% enjoyable, period. So if you hate broccoli or running on a treadmill, you will yearn for both of these activities once they become habits, okay? Get creative with how you're going to eat broccoli. This might sound crazy, but I promise you, you'll know when you experience it. And once you do, it's unreal. Something is better than nothing, but 100% is better than 90%. Always remember that. I believe in action over perfectionism. But I also have seen that 100% is definitely easier than 90%. I'll give you just the most super basic example. It's easier to eat healthy 100% of the time than 90% of the time, right? It's easier to exercise every day than 3 days a week. It's easier to play with your kids each night than only 2 nights a week, okay? When it comes to scheduling, creating habits, and following through, predictability is key, okay? You need a predictable schedule, a predictable routine, and to take predictable actions every single day. So yes, you can take a day off here and there if you need to, but this often turns into a week or a month, and then the goal never actually materializes. So, I know it sounds intense, but 100% is definitely easier than 90%. But there's one caveat to it. If you do fall off track, the beautiful part of this is you just need to get started again, right? It's not of, oh, I failed, or no, you fell off track, you're getting back on track. Don't beat yourself up, don't punish yourself, don't give up. The people that I know who have actually achieved just super high levels of success nearly always had their breakthrough after a breakdown, almost every single one, okay? And I believe in you, and I can't wait to hear and even have this conversation with you next year, where you've completely turned it around. And I want you to throw away plan B, okay? This strategy is going to be a little counterintuitive, but I have to share it. And I'm going to begin with a quote, from an actor, rapper, philanthropist, entrepreneur, comedian, Will Smith. There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts you from plan A. Okay? Good old Will Smith. I will get jiggy to that any day of the week. You are setting an intention to make this an epic year, right? Yet, if you're constantly in the back of your brain thinking of, well, if I fail at this, I have this, then plan A doesn't actually exist, right? What could plan B even consist of? A mediocre life, a life filled with compromises, a life filled with limitations. If your goal is to be epic, be epic. And you're not distracted by anything else, okay? Don't give yourself permission to settle for anything less than what you desire, because when you start to have this conversation with yourself, 100% of the time you will get defeated. And, the easy way out might look easy, but it's filled with just a lifetime of regret. So not worth it, right? I know having only one plan is scary, but it's also a way to guarantee your success because there's no alternate route. It might take a little bit longer, but you have no other plan. Plan A, just one path to making this work, right? pick a passion and pursue it just relentlessly. One extremely obvious strategy that is often overlooked is the importance of attaching your passion to your goal. Okay, let me give you a few examples of this. If your goal is to exercise more and your passion is dancing, combine the two together. Okay, go salsa it up, right? If your goal is to spend more time with your kids and your passion is playing basketball, combine them together, right? If there's a league available in your area, join a league. If not, purchase a basketball net and shoot hoops outside. If your goal is to eat healthier and your passion is baking, then own and be the master of gluten-free cakes and or with organic ingredients and coconut sugar and whatever, right? But own it. I'm just giving you, a few examples. Mine was I am passionate about health and healthcare and empowering people. Okay. I'm also passionate about business and creating a life of freedom. Okay. Put your hands together. Here you go. Right. It was kind of a no-brainer for me. But if you want to make it super easy on yourself, combine your goal with something with your strengths. Always work from your strength. It's so much easier. You should only perform activities that just bring you huge amounts of joy. Okay. That's so what is your number one passion and how can you, make that work within your world? I want you to also recognize that little voice inside. What happens when our little voice or our doubt, our fear creeps its little pokey little head in? It tries to sabotage your success. Okay. And I want you to know that this is a guaranteed occurrence. I'm not saying this is not going to happen. It's a guarantee that at some point, that little voice will rear its ugly little head and will try to knock you down. We're all humans. Okay. We are human beings and we have so many self-limiting beliefs that will eventually try to just get in the way of our own success. But remember, you have that anchor, right? So that song, that mantra, that vision board that will get you back. No plan B. You've committed to plan A, your only plan. Okay. And you have your group of supporters and you're crystal clear on what the outcome is going to be. Fall to that anchor. So my recommendation when that little voice enters your mind is honestly laugh, ignore, and move on. That's all you can do is just acknowledge, right? I have my weird sense of humor. I just laugh it off, ignore it, and move on, right? I'm moving forward. Nothing can stop you at this point from what you want to create. You can reach it. You just have to get rid of your self-limiting beliefs, right? And make them chapters of previous books that you had, but you're not interested in them, being a part of your story moving forward. I know, it's not easy to ignore those little voices, right? But this is again where your support system comes into play as well. I've been down this road before and I still go down it every once in a while. And the best way to combat it is just being louder than it is. And I'm already loud, but I really just need to, lean on my people and know the ultimate goal. Okay. And if you're afraid, do it anyway. So, okay, you're about to hear something pretty big. And that is do things scared. Okay. The true strength of an individual is when they actually face their fear. So, fear is just false evidence appearing real. Okay. And then you just keep on, keep it on. Your life matters way too much. And, as you step into a new realm of who you want to be, where anything is possible, it will leave you in an uncertain state because you've probably never been there before, right? So even when you're veering into that unknown territory, again, tap into your why, connect with your supporters, recite what your ideal outcome is going to be, know that there is no plan B, and then keep on taking action. That's it. I promise taking action will still, while still being afraid, is not going to hurt you. Okay. Instead, it's going to make you so much stronger, right? You got to feel all the feels. And I can't wait again for you to be afraid, because this is when you know you're growing. And that sounds pretty cliche, but I think of my biggest fear moments, and that were followed by, holy crap, I can't believe that was awesome moments, right? No one has ever changed their life in the safe harbor of the known, okay? My final strategy, again, an absolute must on your quest to make this the most epic year yet, is again, really just diffusing your oils. Diffusing essential oils not only makes your home smell nice, but there's so many health benefits, right? So if you are wanting to up-level your health, and you've never used essential oils before, oh my word, you need to tap into this, okay? There are different plants that you can even blend together to help with your mindset, to help you lead with power. There's one that I've named Becoming Epic, and it's 2 drops of wild orange, 2 drops of balance blend, and 2 drops of cedarwood. It's so good. There's blends to help you build momentum. There's blends that will support you and where you are unstoppable. Okay. The unstoppable blend, by the way, is 2 drops of white fir, 1 drop of peppermint, 3 drops of rosemary, and 2 drops of lemon. Nothing can stop you on that. It's beautiful. You can be the puppet master of your entire house. So if you are looking to, regardless of what mindset you are looking for, there are a ton of different diffuser recipes that will really help support you. Okay. Again, I specifically use doTERRA, not because they're the largest essential oil company, but because they are the only company that offers certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils. Okay. This creates a standard. If I'm trying to get healthier, I'm not going to go buy some brand that, even when it says 100% pure essential oil in the bottle, only 10% of that bottle is 100% pure, right? If I'm paying attention to what I'm putting in my body, I'm going to pay attention to everything I'm putting in my body, right? And if you've got some essential oils in a diffuser for Christmas, and the bottles say on them, keep out of reach of children, or put 12 drops in your diffuser, or do not take internally, you automatically know that they're not pure. Okay. So again, I'm a huge wellness advocate for doTERRA, and I support zero fillers, synthetics, dyes, pesticides, contaminants, right? Because just like you are what you eat and you are what your food eats, you are where your essential oils are sourced. Okay. If you were trying to get actual therapeutic benefits out of these plants, you need to use quality plant. That's a big deal. And there are entire classes that we are going to do on how to use essential oils specifically. But I want you guys to know that I really want you to pick and choose from these strategies, and know that you're not alone. And I've been there, and I believe in you, and I know you can do this. Thank you for spending this time with me. And I hope that you've, got some juicy little nuggets in there. But I want you to know that you never have to settle. Never. Not for a minute. Delete the word mediocre from your vocabulary and expect that you will achieve what you are wanting to achieve. Okay? Recognize that you have a support system, and you can PM me anytime if you need some support. And it's such a pleasure connecting with you guys. And I hope that that there's only way more joy that you're going to bring into your life just from showing up and doing the things that you were meant to do. So happy Monday, and I will see you guys next week. Ciao.